The State Assembly met today for their last floor session of the year, taking up bills on education and sexual abuse prevention. But one of the biggest fights was over what didn't make it to the floor today. Our Wisconsin State Capitol Bureau Chief Vanessa Kelson was at the Capitol and has the highlights.
State Democrats working to outmaneuver Republican leadership on Wednesday, attempting to force a vote on a bill to expand Medicaid coverage for moms. But their plans didn't work out.
And I'm mad about it.
Democrats attempted a petition to bring a bill to the floor. The bill would expand Medicaid coverage for moms a year after giving birth, up from the current 60 days. But Republican Assembly Speaker Robin Vos caught wind of the Democrats' planned petition.
This is a blatant effort by the Speaker to prevent this important bill from getting a vote on the floor.
And moved the bill back to a committee so it couldn't be voted on Wednesday.
It isn't Democrats that you're hurting. When the Speaker plays procedural games, it is the people that we represent.
The Medicaid coverage has passed in 48 other states. The Wisconsin bill has the bipartisan support to pass with nearly 30 Republican co-authors.
But they have been bullied by their Speaker into not pushing for a vote on this bill on the floor.
Vos opposes the bill. He did not respond to our request for comment. So what did get passed today? Bills to incentivize districts to consolidate their schools. Aaron's Law, which requires child sexual abuse prevention training to be taught in public schools, and more. All of these bills also have to pass in the State Assembly and be signed by Governor Tony Evers to become law. From the Wisconsin State Capitol, Vanessa Kelson.